Alrighty, how are ya? This is going to be a video of like the whole wild dog weekend, the absolute mayhem that happened. I'm going to apologise now. There's going to be a lot of speaking in it and whatnot, and just explaining a lot of what was going on and whatnot, because it was a bit of a wild weekend, and there was a lot going on. So yeah, there's a bit of clarification, but yeah, enjoy. Alrighty guys, fun times ahead in the midi. We're off heading to Wilddog Winch Challenge, weekend warrior class. Just after trying to clean this thing up a fair bit, now I'm gonna go flog it and ruin all the work. Yep, dirty face, yep. You can see on the back there, got a tray load of Treppy boys, fresh Treppy boys, fresh rims. So she's gonna be looking slick, but I don't know, obviously you can tell that I'm driving her there. So yeah, it's part of the fun. Overall, should be a fucking blast of a weekend. Film what I can. Obviously I won't be filming when I'm driving, but we'll see what happens. Should be a good one. Just pulled over, so I'll show you the setup. Obviously running the feds, but we've got all the fresh treppies on the back. Quick shade chair. That's a bit random. We've got two Jerrys in here, and then a box full of stuff, and then my stuff's in the cab. New exhaust sounding alright. Look at that. That's loaded. Coming down the driveway now. Oh, getting keen. Look at this setup on top of the hill. I don't know if you can see that. Gates haven't even opened for spectators yet either. That's all the teams. That's sick. Just swapping the tyres over. Freshies looking mint. A little setup started. All the boys are coming a bit later, but this is sick. Look at everything. Winch truck. Lining up for scrutineering. It's in the sheds over there. A little bit of a line. There's two cars in there. But yeah, let's hope she passes. So here with scrutineering, I obviously went in, got it checked over. They actually complimented me on how nice the car was looking. Well, not looking, just like how clean it kind of was. And then one thing they picked up was one of my battery lines, because I just did the 24 volt setup, so there's fucking cables everywhere. One of them went underneath the chassis before going up to the rear batteries, so I just had to flip that over to the top, and then rehook it on, and that was it. He gave me some pointers for next time, but he wasn't worrying there. But yeah, so passed pretty much first go with a slight change. We didn't have to go back in, we just got in to come walk over and have a look, so that was pretty smooth. A few more of the boys here now. Got my other car here set up. So before the boys got there was two small stages. One was literally drive, like it would have been 50 meters up, a turn, like a quick winch along flat ground, and then just drive back to the box. And that was just for us weekend guys, kind of to wrap our heads around how the kind of go about the stages. It didn't like count to like our overall time or anything, but yeah, they just made everyone do that, which I'm actually quite grateful for, because that was a real like nerve buster. Got the nerves out of the way, and really helped at the start of the weekend. I tell them that much, so props to them for thinking of that one. And then straight after that was our first stage, which was kind of just ducking and weaving through out some trees, pretty flat, pretty straightforward. So that was still in the daytime. So yeah, did alright there, a couple backups and stuff because it was real tight, but yeah, it was nice. And then the boys all got there, we set up camp properly, and then there was a drivers meeting and then we got into the real shit on Friday night in the night stages. So there was 2 stages on Friday night in the dark, and the first one had a mandatory winch in it. So for us weekend classes, there was spots that we had to winch. Even if you could drive it, you had to winch it. So that was the first one we did, and it was pretty straightforward. Went down, kind of did just a loop like before, but it kind of went through a creek and then up a bit of a winch wall, and then back across some slick ground over to the finish box. So we went around that. Navi jumped out, ran up, hooked it on. I went in with the winch like maybe 5 seconds and then nothing. Excuse. So the winch motor burnt out pretty much straight away, first pour of the whole weekend. So I had nothing, no winch or anything. So after stuffing around for like a minute, just going like, oh, what the hell? I just fucking stood on it while the winch rope was still out and just drove up the winch spot, and then finished the stage, which was still in the in time. Which, coming back to that winch spot, there's a start point where you have to start winching from, but there's no end point. So technically I did winch, I just didn't winch all the way up the hill, but technically I did winch and then finished the stage. So I actually didn't even do that bad in that stage anyway, even though it would have been a lot quicker if I just winched, got into it and finished. But yeah, can't really complain there. And then before the next stage that night, we had to swap the winch motor out, because you can't start the stage without a working winch. So we swapped that out in like 15 minutes, and then lined up for the next one, and then I'll let you watch these videos of the next one.
Yes, kill.
Yeah, righty.
Fuck yes.
W2 Kingdom 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
W2 jump to start after a warning.
So in that second one, where you can see me at the start, you can hear as I take off him say, jump the start or whatever. So obviously if you're watching it, as he's going one and then go, you're not meant to move till he says go. And I kind of started rolling as he said one, because it was downhill. That was just me coming off the brake. That wasn't me accelerating and trying to take off. That was me just moving my foot. So I wasn't going to stress. I was just going to cop the penalty and move on. But one of my mates, old man's, showed him that vid. Like, he took the vid, so he went and just showed him the vid. And then they kind of just agreed and got rid of the penalty. So I actually ended up winning that stage by like not much, like maybe 2 seconds or something. But yeah, that was pretty cool. And he also said after a warning, I don't know what that meant, because I don't know, I didn't really get a warning, but anyway, cool. So on to day 2, Saturday morning. I think we were currently sitting 5th or 4th or something, probably 5th actually. And then today we had 6 or 7 stages to do. So we got up early, went down, did our first stage, which was flawless, mint stage. Second stage was pretty good as well. And then on the third stage, which was probably the easiest stage all day, we went down, did the turnaround, coming through this bog hole on the way back, which was real easy. I actually had like pretty much gotten through it, but then I backed up. You'll see in a sec, I backed up so I didn't hit the bunting and get a penalty. So I backed up and then went to go again. And it wasn't even on takeoff, it was as I was rolling, you can hear me rear axle blow. So you'll see that now. So in that second one of me coming up the hill, you can obviously see that both wheels weren't spinning on the rear. So I literally only had front wheel drive. And you could say just slap the locker and you'd have one in the back as well. But the rear axle broke off and it fucked the locker internally. So it had no rear locker. So both rear wheels were dead. So it was just front wheel drive to get out of there. That's why I was struggling so much up that small little hill. But yeah.
Oh shit. When it broke, the little stub in here, it ripped me airline when the big bit was flapping around. So the locker's cooked. So that's kind of cooked. So we're taking thing out of a diff out of Max's car.
So shout out to Max for letting me rip his diff center out. He was the only one there with 4.6s, otherwise I would have taken out mine. And we also took his axle for the rest of the weekend, so big props to Max. Kept us going. And big props to the boys, smashed it out, swapping it over and got us back out the finished majority of the stages left that day.
Alrighty. Up and ride.
Now, just when we thought we were all gravy after fixing the car, come back to that first stage, which was all sweet, coming down into the finish box, coming up hot, slam on the brake before the finish box, and I just lose like my whole brake pedal. So we pull off and have a look, and it turns out the soft line that goes to the top of the front diff, I ripped that out of like the crimping of it, like that goes to like, I don't know, the thread. So what we did was just cut the solid line that goes to that and just flip it over and crimp it. So I only had rear brakes for the next 2 stages that we did. that was the end of Saturday. I think we missed out on one stage that day, just because we ran out of time, because it was getting on in the day. Because by the time we finished the diff, it was real late. We were like one of the last people to run through the rest of the stages, so they're kind of waiting for us, really, on some of them. Now, obviously, in that last one, you can see that last winch was a bit stiff. At the start of the day, people were driving that last hole to that finish box like quite easily. So throughout the day, it just got absolutely thrashed. Yeah, it didn't make it easy when we got back out there, but it is what it is. This next one was the first stage we did on Sunday. So you can see the takeoff, obviously. My mate happens to stop the video right before I get on the gas. Always the case. And then it kind of just snaked around, and then you'll see going up the hill. Now that was a must winch spot. You can see the two cones down the bottom. So we ran out, winched it to a tree. Now most people were winching up all the way up the right side, but we chose to kind of try and make something work, and we just winched halfway, and then I took off from halfway up the hill, kind of just to kill the winch time. And then you can see me come back and then have to back up on the box side and take out a peg. Had to back up and then get it back in the box. But we actually ended up winning this stage as well, so it wasn't too bad.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
So they were the first two, which were all gravy. And then in this next one, which was a real cool one, was right in front of all the spectators and shit. Cool takeoff, kind of going a bit fast, probably the fastest we got all weekend. And then it dives down into this little bog hole that I take it real slow through. And then I go to the takeoff again. And I lose my drive belt like as I'm taking off there. So I lose all my power steering, water pump stops going, like everything is lost because I got just one belt for everything. So I lose that real early. Now we still managed to finish that stage like within the time, but shit me, it was an absolute fucking struggle with no power steering, and the car started getting hot. First time this thing's ever gotten to the point of even looking at getting hot, which is a bit crazy, but yeah. So after that, I walked the track and found my belt, and we also had a spare one that had already been kind of torn a little bit. So we were playing around for a while in the pits, trying to fix that, and got it back on finally, and then went to take off for the next one. And as soon as I took off, the belt just came off, and it was getting on in the day. There was still like another, I think 3 or 4 stages left. So overall that day there was 7 stages to do. There was still like 3 or 4 left. But yeah, we had a big weekend, and yeah, we just called it quits. And this is how the weekend's ending. Oh yeah. So in short, that's pretty much how the weekend went. Sorry for all the vertical videoing and whatnot, and a long video in general, but and heaps of talking. But yeah, that's kind of the inside of a first time racer, first time the weekend class has ever been run, which I reckon they did a fantastic job running it. It was really smoothly the whole weekend actually, especially our class. I reckon it was quite nice. So good on them for that. Good on them for opening it up and kind of getting a bit bigger of an event going. But yeah, definitely a world of fun, and just the feeling of it being a race. Like everyone knows the feeling of going for a nice 40 on the weekend with the boys, but as soon as it turns into a race, I don't know, that's weird. It's a different feeling. Yeah, but good fun. Thanks to Max for doing me navy. He was actually a absolute weapon on it. So yeah, he did great, and the pit crew, fantastic. So yeah, I don't know if I'll race again because it was hard, and the car was pretty beat. There's another one coming up, but we'll see. But yeah, cheers for watching.